Hi, my name is Robert. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. Now, this engine compartment is spacious and the hood opens nice and wide, but a lot of people may not know it. You pull the hood down just a little bit, you spin these little hinge stops, and this hood will open straight up. This is a way that you could pull the motor without even pulling the hood off. Not that that's a big task. Now, besides the battery being missing, the battery connection being missing, I noticed that the coolant bottle was rotted away, and that is deteriorated and broken. So I purchased one of those from the salvage yard. I do have oil and a filter to change. I'm going to use the first oil change as a flush. So I'll change the oil and the filter. I'll drive the car 50 miles maybe. Then I'll change it and put in there what I really want. And I also noticed that the cap on the brake reservoir was deteriorated and broken. So I got one of those. So I'll check the air filter, drain the oil, change the filter, drain the fuel if it has fuel, add some fresh fuel, connect the battery, change that coolant bottle, and try to fire it up. First order of business, jacking the car up, getting the oil changed. So I have no idea when the last time the oil was checked or changed. Like I said, car's been sitting for years. I pull the oil dipstick and the oil level seems real high. So I'm gonna wipe that off and check it again. So someone has definitely put a quart or two extra in this motor. That's no real big deal. I'm draining it out anyway. And what I'm going to do is go ahead, drain it, add the new oil in. Then I'm going to roll the motor over with the crank bolt. And I might pull the spark plugs and put a teaspoon of oil on top of the pistons just to kind of help it on its initial start. Now, I noticed previously that the rear hatch supports are deteriorated. They will not keep the hatch up. So I purchased a set out of the junkyard yesterday. I think they were about $15. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace them so I don't have to wrestle with this rear hatch trying to hit me in the head. Okay, I got that one snapped on, and just with that one on, now the hatch is supporting itself where it wouldn't do that before. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace the other one anyway, because I want it safe and have a lot of support. As you can see, it still tries to fall down until I get it all the way up. So let me do the other side and I'll be done with the rear hatch. Okay, the driver's side is done, and there you have it. Just that easy. Now, with the hatch less than halfway up, it'll lift itself up and hold in place, and this is even in cold weather, so I'm good to go. Well, crazy thing. Looked like somebody broke into the vehicle and stole the jack. So I'll have to get another jack for it. Alright, the vehicle had more than 6 quarts in there. I still got a little in my drip pan. I filled up a 5-quart jug, and I filled up a 1-quart container. So I'm glad I at least drained some oil out before I tried to start it. Okay, since the car hadn't been driven in a long time, I pulled a plug. When you pull these wires, grip them down as far as you can and wiggle them out, and be careful when you pull these plugs. They come out at a funny angle, they go in at a funny angle. It's best if you turn them in by hand. But somebody put platinum plugs in here, which is probably not the right plug, and they look a little burnt. So I'm gonna get some new plugs for it and put it in probably after I start the car. So I'm gonna try to squirt a little bit of oil in each one of these cylinders, probably about a teaspoon. Then I'm gonna roll the motor over by hand with the bolt on the crank. I'm gonna roll it over 2 or 3 turns to get the cylinder lubricated, since the car had been started probably 5 years. And then I'm gonna change the gas and fire it up. Now, since like I said, I'm gonna kind of prime this engine, I'm gonna go ahead and put a cap full of oil in each cylinder. So I have that funnel in there, and I'm gonna use the cap off of this oil bottle to pour a little bit of oil in there. It's going to be about a tablespoon, I guess. I'm going to put one in each cylinder. Couldn't reach that number 4 cylinder, so I taped a little hose on there. I'm going to try to hold that in there so I can get that one little cap full of oil in there. Now that I have oil in each cylinder, I'm going to go ahead and turn the crank bolt down there. It'll be easier to do with the spark plugs out. That'll also get these belts moving so they're not just instantly stressed by the starter motor hitting them. Okay, I'm going to put a little random mark on the crank there. But put a 24 millimeter on there, and I'm going to crank it around 4 full turns just to try to get things moving. Alright, I cranked it around with a ratchet. Man, it rolled over real smooth because I don't have the spark plugs in. And I went 4 times, but it doesn't matter. I think just getting the timing belt and these other belts moved around is good for it. So now I'm going to put the plugs in and proceed from there. Since my cap is deteriorated on my brake fluid reservoir, I'm going to remove that cap, put the replacement on, check the fluid level in that, and I may just get a whole nother brake fluid reservoir bottle as well. When you replace these caps, make sure you don't drop nothing down in the bottle, and make sure your new cap, the inside of it, is very, very clean with a lint-free cloth. As you can see, that still looks clean in there, and there is a screen in there that protects from stuff falling in there, and the brake fluid in there looks like crud, so I need to replace that brake fluid. Brake fluid should be replaced every 50,000 miles or every 3 years according to the owner's manual. So let me screw this new cap on after I get this dang filter drop down on there right. Okay, I got the replacement cap on there. I noticed that this bottle was broke and you can't see in it, it's deteriorated, so I got a replacement one from the salvage yard. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace that. Take this clip loose, take the end of that bottle out of there with a screw, take this bolt loose, take the cap off, take the clamp off the bottom of there, work it off the bottle, and place the replacement one in place. It's very simple. Okay, when you put the bottle in, you want to put it in level. There's a little hash mark in the top of the bracket, and that lines up with the little line on top of the bottle. Then you want to go ahead and top off your coolant. The vehicle does have coolant. When the hose fell down, some came out. That's a good sign, especially since the radiator is pretty new. So I'm going to top the coolant off, put the cap on. Okay, I topped off the coolant. I put it halfway between minimum and max. I just used generic coolant that I got from the store, cheap stuff, because I'm going to flush the system soon. After I make sure the car is okay and running and worth the future investment, I'm going to go ahead and flush the coolant system because I don't have any maintenance records and I think the car has been sitting for a long time. So there it is, it's topped off, ready to go. Now the battery's missing from this vehicle and battery wires, positive cables are disconnected there. So I'm going to go ahead and vacuum out that battery tray with my shop vac, hook up a battery cable connector on there, and install the battery. Here's part of the hold down for the battery, so at least that's there. Okay, I got all that vacuumed out of there, and since I had the vacuum out, I vacuumed some other areas as well to get the standing dirt out of the motor, and I'll get on the other side here soon. And I got that tray cleaned out, and I vacuumed up a couple rubber plugs that I'm going to pull out of the vacuum cleaner and set back down in there and set the tray back in. Okay, I found all 4 of those rubber grommets. Funny thing is, I thought I only sucked up 2. So I'm going to go ahead and set the tray down. I'm going to clean off the bottom of the bolt, probably put some anti-seize on that, and then I'm going to set the battery in place and hook up that cable. Setting that tray down in there, I put a little pressure on it, push my thumb right through it, so be careful, it is fragile. Try not to lean on anything plastic under the hood as well. Okay, I got the battery cable terminal end on. I cleaned off the negative one best I could with a wire brush. You could use a battery cleaner to do that. Battery post cleaner. Now I'm going to hook up my battery, positive first, then negative. Then I'm going to spray them with the little protective stuff, kind of repels corrosion. Make sure you got your negative over here, your positive over here. This is a group 47 battery. So I'm going to go ahead and hook up my battery. Okay, I have the battery installed. When you're installing a battery, loosen your bolts up as much as you can and stick a little screwdriver down there and prime apart so that you can slip and twist and whatever you need to do to pry that apart. because you want this to go down on the post as far as you can without banging it. You don't want to bang these down. Then these bolts don't have to be real tight. The cables have to be tight so that you can't move them. So snug those down. Don't deform your lead connectors. They're normally steel lead. And then you're good to go. So I'm going to go inside and turn the key on and see how much gas I have in the tank. So I have the battery terminal sprayed with the anti-corrosive stuff now. Now when you connect the battery to a car that has not had a battery connector for a while, you want to look around, make sure you don't hear or smell anything burning, because you just don't know what's been going on with a car that's been sitting for several years. Then you want to come inside the car and do that same thing. Kind of look around, smell around, make sure you don't hear or smell anything burning. Now I got a dome light lit, so that's a good sign. So let me stick the key in the ignition, turn it on. I'll jump under the hood and check some things, and then I'll come inside and look at the instrument. But I'm not going to start this car because I want to purge the fuel. Old fuel out, put fresh fuel in. Stuck the key in the ignition, that's a good sign. I got a bell. Turn it on. I get no indication of fuel, no indication of temp. So I'm gonna put a gallon or two of gas in the car and see what happens if it starts. I'll prime it 3 or 4 times first before I hit the starter. Okay, when I turn the key on, the fuel gauge did wiggle, so maybe that's an indication that there's no fuel. So I'm gonna leave the key on and go under the hood, make sure I don't see or smell anything burning under here. All looks well. So let me go ahead and add a gallon of gas to the car. That should be enough to start it, get it to a gas station, and we'll fire it up. Check the air filter and found a house key, and of course a filter that's in need of replacement. So of course that's part of the tune-up. Okay, since my fuel gauge registered very little, I'm gonna try to put just a gallon or 2 in here and see if that'll do me. So I picked up a couple gallons from the gas station and I'm putting them in the tank, and I'm gonna try to start the car with it after I get a fire extinguisher close by. Okay, I got a couple of dead soldiers. I checked my seal inside my gas cap. It actually looks good, which is great. Screw the cap on real good. Then I'm gonna shake it up. It wouldn't even be a bad idea to add a little heat, but with just 2 gallons, I would wait on that. So get a couple clicks on that. Now I'm gonna shake the car up, mix the gas up, then I'm gonna go in and try to start it. Now I open the hood, have the fire extinguisher ready in case something strange happens. I don't really anticipate nothing bad happening, but just in case it does, I'm ready. Everything looks connected and ready to go. I checked the oil, it's right at the full mark. So I'm gonna bump the starter 5 times, cycling it, trying to get fuel up to the engine. Then I'm gonna try to start it. So put the key in the ignition. Let me close this door, see if that matters on this chime. Bump the starter. Do that 5 times to get fuel up to the motor. Hopefully that's pressurizing the fuel system. Do it once more, then I'm gonna try to start it. Now, since I put a little oil in the cylinders, the car will probably smoke for a minute or so. Not starting yet, so let it sit for a few seconds, let the starter cool off, then I'm gonna try it again. I tried starting it 3 times, it didn't start, so I'm gonna check a few fuses. If no fuses are blown, I'm gonna take a break and come back to it tomorrow. There's a couple of relays here. There's some kind of radio relays. I'm gonna swap them out and see if that will help get that fuel pump running. So let me turn the key off. I swapped those relays over. Let me see if it'll start or make a difference. Okay, I got a no start, so I'm gonna have to go through my no start troubleshooting video and see if I'm getting spark. Sounds like it has compression, and go from there. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.